The big meeting today is over. The president is going to come out and announce the new measures to tighten up airline security and some of what has come out of that meeting. And as we continue to learn more about how intelligence on the suspect passed from one government agency to another in the days leading up to that incident, new questions are arising about whether current screening technology can keep us safe from another attack. We're glad today to be joined by Asa Hutchinson, who's a former Homeland Security Undersecretary, and also Dave Tilton, who is the CEO of Brimtech, a private security firm. He is also a security expert. Good to have both of you with us today, gentlemen. Mr. Hutchinson, let me start with you. When you look at this situation, and I'm sure that you were privy to many things at Homeland Security that you felt were victories that probably nobody ever heard about. But this one looks like a pretty big screw-up, doesn't it?
Well, all the indications are it's first and foremost an intelligence failure. The system failed. We have to determine the answers to that. I'm glad the president's meeting with his advisors today. I hope it's a long meeting, and I hope it's probed as to how the intelligence was shared, why he was not put on the watch list, and that's the fundamental problem here. All indications to me are that the intelligence should have been sufficient for putting that person on secondary inspection at a minimum or the no-fly list. And if the intelligence had been analyzed, that, to me, was a conclusion as to what should have happened. So we can talk about inspections all day long, but it starts with the intelligence, and that would have prevented that individual from flying on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts, Mr. Hutchinson, on, it feels like there's a very broad net that gets cast, and that there is a sort of catch-as-catch-can nature to airport security. I went through airport security this week, as did, hundreds of thousands of people probably across this country. And you feel as though there's a lot of people in place, a lot of people looking at bags. Some places you go have those puffer machines. Most places don't. There's a random nature to it and a feeling that technology ought to have gotten us further since September 11th. What do you say to that? What do you think about that?
Well, to me, our effort should be on focusing on those that pose a risk, such as Abdul Muttalib as he went on the flight, versus trying to make it more inconvenient for 2 million passengers to get on those airlines every day. Certainly, you should have a minimal level of inspection for everyone. When you're talking about intrusive inspections or making life more difficult, let's make it more difficult for not the average passenger, but that person who poses a risk. So you're talking about profiling, it sounds like.
What many people would call profiling.
Well, I think that if you're talking about profiling based upon geographic origins or where they're flying from, absolutely. Let's make some sense out of this. If you're talking about simply because they're of a particular racial origin, absolutely not. But you have to be smart about who you're inspecting, and that's simply intelligence. But we do have technologies. We need to have more deployed.
Let me bring in Dave Tilton. So, Dave, one of the things that you point out is that most TSA inspectors are paid very little money. There's not a lot of focus. They're not seen as too high on the food chain in terms of the intelligence agencies and what gets shared with them, right?
Oh, absolutely. The average TSA entry inspector or checker there is less than $6 an hour. So to get the experience in there for so little pay is going to be very, very hard. We have a lot of new technology that is out on the market that can be used to take the place of some of these people that just makes it automatic. For instance, some of your facial recognition software that's out there that's 98 to 99% effective. That can be used with databases that are supplied by either the government or private industry.
That raises a great question, and I want to put this, get a quick thought from both of you on this. Mr. Hutchinson, you look at stimulus, you look at spending money. We've done stories here about, stimulus money that's going to tennis courts, okay? And it raises the question, why not build jobs in this area? Why not build the technology that we've been hearing about for what feels like, 8 years that we still don't have as part of our lives, like facial recognition technology? Why don't we have it?
Well, it is a question of what's the right technology and then funding it. And funding it has always been a challenge for us. Whenever you look at puffer machines, which are explosive detection, they're really advanced technology that can be used. It is in some airports, not in other airports. This is an example of where this ought to be more broadly funded. So there are agreements that we should be doing that. I think TSA does a really good job from a personnel standpoint, but they need better technology.
All right, just real quick, Dave, why don't we have face recognition technology yet?
It's all about the funding. The same thing why we don't have a lot of this 3D imaging technology, which is a low-level X-ray type system to see if somebody
I think a lot
has
of Americans
something
hear
concealed.
what you folks are saying and say, boy, we're spending a lot of money on a lot of things. Maybe this ought to be a priority in this country. We'll see if that happens now. Dave Tilton, thank you very much. Asa Hutchinson, thanks so much. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you.
So on that note, you've heard what security experts say we need to do to keep the skies safe. But there are major legal concerns with these measures. They could violate your rights, and they could even put your children in danger. That's next.
Welcome to Idaho, where the world's best potatoes come from. Some people say it's the rich volcanic soil that makes our potatoes so special. Or maybe the pure water. Whatever it is.